Hey guys, it's me, Bianca Imani, and as you know, I am toxic as fuck. Okay, that's no secret. I am toxic, or at least I was toxic. I am now in toxic rehab, and I'm gonna share with you some ways that I am taking myself from being extremely toxic to just like a little bit toxic. We're just gonna small enough, but just a little bit. I'm not perfect, but I am trying. So if you want to see how I go from being big toxic to little toxic, stay tuned.
All in my bag, I'm making them mad. I walk in the bank, I'm hitting my dad. Pockets is fat, a couple of stacks, I'm spending it all, I'm making it back. I get the green, what do you mean? Get to the cash, you know I'm a fiend. You know we lit, me and my team, that's how.
All right, so I may not be as toxic as the toxic king future, but I'm toxic enough that I can admit that I do some pretty batshit crazy things. The things that go into my mind, I feel like I have a logical I call it my irrational brain and like my rational thinking brain. Like I can switch between the two of them because that's what crazy people can do apparently. But I don't really like being toxic. I really feel like I want to be at a place in my life where I'm peaceful, where I'm calm, and I really want to cultivate good relationships. I want to be able to manifest, good things in my life, good people in my life, because I feel like I've had enough bad going on. I've enticed people into my life based off of my own toxic ways. Step one to becoming a less toxic person is acknowledging the things within you that need to change, right? So it's all about wanting to change. You have to want to change. Like, I'm the type of person that I have to go through a lot of stuff in order for me to want to change. Like, there has to be something drastic going on in order for me to feel like that I have to, that I need to. Like, I have to be at the lowest of low, the bottom of my situation in order to be like, all right, something's got to give. Like, something's got to change. So first of all, acknowledging that I'm toxic. That's step one. I'm acknowledging that I'm toxic, and I'm acknowledging that there's things that I need to change about myself. Two is finding the root of the problem. Like, what is it that is making you toxic? Why do you like these things? Like, I like toxic relationships because when I was younger, I watched Baby Boy, and I felt like that was my standard of relationships. That's what love meant. That's what happiness meant. That's what a relationship was supposed to be. It's supposed to be, I hate you, we kiss, we make up, we make love, and then we're okay. That's what I have in my head as what is okay. Obviously, that's not okay. So I have to get it out of my head that I need to be arguing and constantly fighting with a guy, and that is so hard. But what makes it easier is learning to speak with intent. So when dealing with my ex, I feel like I was just saying things to get a reaction out of him. But my logical thinking brain, my rational brain, knew that I was never going to get the response that I wanted. I was never going to get the reaction I wanted. I would probably, like, let's say I'm complaining about him not texting me back. I'm like, yo, where are you? What are you doing? He'll give me an excuse. I'll say it's bullshit. He would say whatever. I would say whatever. And then that's it. There was like, what is the point of that conversation? Nothing at all. It was just an argument to have an argument for argument's sake. So what I realized is every time I felt like I wanted to pick a fight, or I wanted to say something, or I wanted to get a reaction out of him, I would just have to talk to myself. I would just have to say, what do I want out of this conversation? Every time, not every time, because sometimes I would still fly off the handle, but majority of the time I would stop and I'll ask myself, all right, what do you want out of this conversation? What do you expect to happen? And I'm somebody that if I'm really, 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 really into you, or actually I gotta be really, really in love with you. I have to just be in love with you for me to express myself in the most vulnerable of ways. Like, I could talk a good talk when I want to talk a good talk, but when I'm really being vulnerable and really expressing how I feel, I I really like put my heart and soul into it. And a lot of the time I wanted to like get real sappy and real into it and like try to make him feel something. And it was just like, all right, Bianca, whatever you feel like you want to say, however deep you want to get into your feelings, think about the outcome of this conversation. What do you really feel like is going to happen? Do you really think that you are going to get the response that you think you're going to get? And that deterred me from having a lot of unnecessary conversations, because it was like, you're not going to get the response that you want, you know? So that helps me to work on, you know, that pushing for an argument, pushing to have a conversation for the sake of a conversation, you know, that helps with one of my toxic traits, you know. Another thing is distancing yourself from the people that bring out the toxic in you. Okay, like you have to know your triggers. You have to know who brings out this toxic desire, that your partner in your relationship is just creating this toxic person inside of you. You know, me being so insecure in one of my relationships, it was really toxic. Like it would cause me to pick fights. It would make me feel like I always needed validation. And it's so annoying to deal with somebody that is so insecure, you know? And it made me a toxic person, because then I would just pick fights for everything and anything. Like if a girl passed by and he even breathed differently, I was just flying off the handle, you know? And it's so toxic to be insecure in a relationship and then take it out on other people, you know? So you have to be aware of what's creating this toxicity within you, what's leading you to be toxic. And I was leading myself to be toxic because I was insecure. I need to find my own security. I know how to love myself enough to know my worth, and then know that what my position is in my relationship. You know, I always say that if I gotta check your phone, I don't want it. You know, I don't want that kind of relationship. I don't want to feel on edge. I don't want to feel excited. I don't want to feel like there's a possibility that I can be cheated on. I don't want that. You know, and that's because I feel like I don't deserve that. So because I know my worth, I'm not chasing behind something like that, because then that leads me to be a toxic individual to my relationship. You feel me? So another way I'm healing for being toxic is just taking the time to really just be by myself. I know people that don't, I can recognize when a person that is talking to me is not going to serve me. You know, they're not going to take me anywhere in life. You know, is this company or is this a relationship building? You know, a lot of the time we accept company just for the sake of not being alone, but it's really not, it's not serving you, because it's not growing you. It's just like a waste of your time. You know, there's a lot of guys that initially I give them my number or my social media and I'll entertain a conversation for a little while, but at the end of the day, I just fall off the earth because you don't serve me. Like I can already tell that this ain't what I want. This ain't what I need. And I don't see growth from this. You feel me? Once I can see that there's no growth from it, then I'm just done with it. I'm just not going to entertain it, you know? And that's very important, you know, taking this time for myself to read, to grow my career, to motivate myself to do better, to be better, to make these better decisions. Taking the time for personal growth is really important. Like I'm trying to read books because, as y'all know, I got ADHD. I can't focus on nothing. I'm trying to take the time to really start reading again. How successful people grow. I started this when I was pregnant. Never finished it. So I'm going to give that another try because these books are, I feel, really good. This is like the workbook. So you have space to answer questions and really give yourself really, you know, really assess things for yourself and to really figure out how can you as a person grow, you know, living with intent. I like recently I've been taking on the idea of living intentionally. And that's very important because sometimes we see ourselves fading and we're not living with a purpose or with any intent. We're just going with the motions. And I don't want to go with the motions because I want to go up, you know? And that's helping me be less of a toxic person and really identifying my toxic traits, especially when it comes to like believing everything that somebody says to me. One of my toxic traits that isn't like really relationship related, but I repeat whatever I hear. And it's very embarrassing. I don't like that about myself, but I will repeat whatever I hear from a credible, like, just like, not even a credible person, just I will repeat whatever I hear. All right. If my friend come and tell me this, that, and the third, I'm a believe friend. I'm gonna go to my other friend and be like, oh, you heard, And then there's been times where I've been wrong or the person had their stuff wrong. And now there's this information in the air that's incorrect and was spread by me. So I really don't want to be that kind of person. Like I can entertain gossip. I do like gossip. I do like hearing the tea, spilling the tea. I love the tea, bitch. I want to know everybody's information. I want to know everybody's business. And it's not even that I want to know it to spread it or to talk down or to talk bad. I just like knowing things. Like I stay on the shade room. I just want to be in people's business, you know, but at the same time, I mind my own damn business and I don't want to be in anybody's situation. Like, I don't want no parts. I'd be like, I don't know nothing about that. I don't want to know about that. I don't want no parts of it. Like, it's like at the same time, like I want to be all in the business, but I want to be able to step away if things get crazy. But and that's not living intentionally. Like, why do you want to be in everybody's business? Why do you want to know everybody's business? Like, why do you want to always have somebody spill the tea? I just, and it's toxic because it just gets out of hand sometimes. And I don't want to be that person, I don't want anybody to ever go back and be like, well, Bianca is the one that told, and I'll be like, child. I don't want that to ever come back to me. That's like a fear of mine, so I'm working on taking away that toxic trait and to really mind my business, focus on me, do what I'm doing. And all of that can be a very toxic person in my relationships. My words are knives, and that's something that I'm really trying to learn how to control, is the way I speak to people. I prefer to opt for just not speaking at all because I can get so disrespectful and I don't really ever want to go there. So sometimes I just don't speak at all, especially dealing with guys. I feel like most of them are like so big and powerful. It's like, all right, if I fight you, I just might not win and then I gotta shoot you. But if I use my words, I can really cut you down with my words. That's a fight I know I could win, because my words cut like a knife, right? And I don't like to kiki with people. Like, don't joke on me. And then when I take it where I gotta take it, then you mad. You say what you gotta say and it's cool, but once I say what I gotta say, then it's going too far. You can't pick the way people respond to you. That's not, you don't have that choice. You can't tell me how I'm supposed to respond to you, right? So I'm just trying to work on that area of my toxicity. My words are all that I've ever had. All I've ever been is a person of words. I write poems, I write stories, I write everything. I write my feelings, I write everything. So my words is my power. And I'm trying to remind myself that, words should have intent. My words should be to heal and not to harm. So that's another thing I'm working on with my toxicity, and being an intentional person and talking with purpose and really using my words to build instead of destroy, because I want people to remember me as the person that made the most impact on them in a positive way, not a negative way, So that's my TED Talk for today. I hope we are all living intentionally. I hope that we are all learning to heal and not harm, and we will get through this toxic rehab together. Okay? Thank you for joining me. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that, and come back next time. Videos on Mondays and Fridays. All right? Stay mentally whole.